What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing what the Chicago Bulls need in terms of players, in terms of, for example, rim protection or maybe some forwards, some guards, whatever the case may be. Just discuss what's left for the Chicago Bulls to do. Now, in essence, there is a lot of it that we won't know about as of yet because this team is kind of new and there is a lot of new pieces in there that maybe things that we might look at and say that we need turns out to be something that we don't need, and maybe even vice versa. Something that we've never possibly thought that we needed on this Bulls team turns out we're going to desperately need. But from what we have seen, what we have done, and also what we haven't done, we can kind of determine what the Bulls can continue to provide or continue to try to improve on in this upcoming season and for future seasons to come. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and what do they need for this upcoming season and for future seasons to come. Now, before we get into the video, I would like to apologize for not making a video yesterday. Things have happened, things got in the way, and ultimately priorities had to be chosen. And unfortunately, look, it's very rare that I don't make videos, but yesterday just was one of those days I simply could not get the job done. Let's hope that doesn't happen again for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, what do the Chicago Bulls need? Well, I already mentioned one of them at the beginning of the video, but this is a situation that I don't personally think we have fully addressed. And that is a rim protector. We still, to this day, do not have a rim protector on this team. Now, we've been crying out for a rim protector for probably 2, maybe 3 years now as a Bulls team. We tried to get different people that could hopefully come in and do the job. Guys like Tristan Thompson, guys like Andre Drummond, guys that ultimately bring physicality to the team, even if they're not amazing rim protectors. We were kind of hoping we could at least get that from them. And there were certain moments where things were going alright in that department, but for the most part, it's been a sorely lacking part of our game. Now, we've got, as of now, Nikola Vucevic still on the team. He is definitely not a rim protector. He's not out here blocking shots. He sometimes can get in position to deter shots, maybe to force a tough shot, but ultimately not a rim protector, not really a paint defender in general. You've also got players like Jalen Smith, a bit undersized for my liking as a rim protector. Adama Sanogo is relatively unproven at the center position for the Chicago Bulls. And guys like Kenny Lofton Jr. per se is someone that is here on a short-term deal at best at the moment. We don't know his longevity with this Bulls team. So in a nutshell, we've kind of got worse in that area. We've got Nikola Vucevic and a lot of undersized centers. We've got, again, Jalen Smith undersized. Adama Sanogo, he's built different, isn't he? But he's also undersized in terms of the height. Kenny Lofton Jr. undersized. Maybe I'm missing someone there, but ultimately, a lot of undersized guys in terms of the bench positions for the Chicago Bulls. And then you've got Nikola Vucevic. None of them are real threatening rim protectors. So I don't necessarily know where and how we get our rim protector. But look, if the Bulls end up really surprising a lot of people, I can still probably come back to this video and say, and look at it and say, man, we really do still need some rim protection. It is sorely lacking. So that's the first area that I feel like we truly need. The second area, a lot of people are going to say we need more wing players. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the harsh reality of the situation is I think we've signed quite a few players that can play in those wing positions, especially in the power forward position. I think Jalen Smith can play in the power forward position. We draft Mateus Bazelis. If he's not playing in those forward positions, then we've done something severely wrong with his development. Guys like Julian Phillips should be back. Dalen Terry should be getting some minutes. Those guys can play in forward positions. And then you got, again, let's just say Kenny Lofton Jr. does end up playing for the Chicago Bulls. He's going to be in the forward positions most likely, and potentially even in a small ball position in the center position. Those are the areas that we've covered. We have signed a lot of forwards and players that could potentially play in that power forward position, not to mention the return of Patrick Williams next season. But the one thing that I think we haven't really done, I feel like the athleticism of those forwards is where we are lacking. So I'm not going to say we need athletic forwards. I'm going to say we need athleticism in general. That's what I'm going to say. Now, our most athletic player is a player that could potentially be leaving the Chicago Bulls. His name is Zach LaVine. He's a shooting guard as well, so ultimately still not a forward. But athleticism, I feel like, could be an area of improvement for the Chicago Bulls. Let's say, hypothetically, Zach LaVine does leave this Bulls team. Who's going to be our most athletic player then? It could be Kobe White, maybe. Ayo, maybe. I think it's going to be Patrick Williams. That's the answer, in my opinion. But I feel like there has to be more than that. You know, there's not going to be many players that are going to be out here, I guess, slam dunking or running in transition with posterizers. We're not going to really have that type of team like we may have had a couple of years ago with guys like Javonte Green and Derrick Jones Jr., Zach LaVine, all running down the floor together. All of them ridiculously good athletes. I do think athleticism is going to be something that we may not see. The Bulls can still run fast. We've got a young team. The Bulls could still do some deadly things in transition. Guys like Ayo, even if he's not the most athletic player you'll ever see, still very deadly in transition. And I think our transition game will be much, much more improved this season. But the athleticism of our game, I don't necessarily think is going to be there as much as it has been in previous seasons. So I think that's an area we could probably work on with this Bulls team. I'm going to say this as well. And ultimately, this one, more than anything, is a wait-and-see type of situation. I still feel like we need more three-point shooters on the team. Look, we've signed guys like Jalen Smith who can shoot the three. We have, obviously, the returning Lonzo Ball who can shoot the three. Guys like Kobe White, Ayo, Patrick Williams, you're expecting them to improve from the three-point line. And if Vucevic decides he actually wants to shoot well one year, you might have a shooting center there as well that could give you a couple of threes here or there. But the way that I see it, we are still far away from what is the standard of the NBA from the three-point line. I really believe that. And I think some of it comes to coaching. Personnel the last couple of seasons, I think, is a key issue there as well. Hopefully those things can be rectified this season, but I still feel like we are slightly far off what we should be as a team from the three-point line. We have brought in additions. Guys like Josh Giddey will be a better playmaker to get more three-point shots for everybody else. Even if he can't shoot the three-point shot that well, hopefully that will help everybody else. Lonzo Ball could do the same. And not only that, he is a very good three-point shooter. If Zach LaVine is playing for the Chicago Bulls, well, he adds more dynamics at least from the three-point line, even if his efficiency from here to there is a bit off. But I still feel like we're going to need more. I really want to see a Doug McDermott type of player on this team. Someone that can move without the ball and really create some havoc from the three-point line in that department. Someone that we can go and give an off-ball screen to that allows them to get open. Someone that we can run a play for where the guy doesn't even need to touch the ball to be a threat. A Klay Thompson type of player. I often refer it to as, obviously we can't get Klay Thompson, but I want a player like that we could really, again, expand our offense with, make us so dynamic and so hard to guard. I still don't feel like we have that player on this team. That's kind of what I'm issuing here. I think we need a player like that on our team. But in terms of everything else, I don't necessarily have one key thing else in mind. Ultimately, the rest we're going to have to wait and see about. Stats will probably determine what more we need, and more game time and more experience under this Bulls team will tell us what we're probably going to need. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is, don't expect the Bulls to get every single need sorted by the trade deadline. Once again, this team is young and this team may not be that good next season. So at the end of the day, they might be willing to accept that we can't grant every single need that we may have just to ensure that we keep that top 10 protected pick. There is a possibility of that at least. So keep that in mind when you're talking about what needs we may have or what needs we may need. It sure may be absolutely correct what you guys say, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will be rectified next season or for future seasons to come. We may be still talking about this 3-4 years later, how we don't have a rim protector. It can happen. We'll see if it does. But that's going to be my video today. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.